More Growth Live Build series. So yesterday we crafted the perfect appointment offer. Today we're going to go even deeper into that by creating the email copy that supports it. So we're going to be creating reminders. We're going to be creating emails that go if somebody cancels or doesn't show up. And we're going to create follow-up emails as well. Now, these emails, to make sure that people feel confident, they feel excited, that they feel prepared to show up, and they play a huge role in whether or not your calls are going to convert. Now, I'm going to show you what to send, when to send it, and how to write it, so it builds trust and momentum before your sales calls even happen. Now, my name is Matthew Watts, and I am the co-founder of Uplevel CRM, which is what we're going to be using today to create our appointment engine. So let's dive in. Oh, if you want a free trial of Uplevel, just visit uplevelbyoomf.com and you can start your free trial. But let me share our companion workbook. If you haven't got this yet and you'd like a copy, just comment 3 for our live build number 3, and we will get this sent out to you. So we have gone through what an appointment engine is. We've crafted our perfect offer and written the copy for our landing pages, the scheduling page and the confirmation page. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn appointments into clients, and booking the call is just the start. Pre and post call workflows. So that's our reminders. It might be text messages, voicemails, could be a video drop, whatever it is that you want to use. These build trust, they increase show up rates, and they make conversion easier. I like to say that reminders generate revenue. Okay, so if you haven't got a good appointment engine in place, you're leaking calls, you're leaking revenue. So building this is really going to give you a solid structure around which you can grow your business. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create 5 reminders that happen before the call, and there's a very specific structure for these. So the first one is sent straight away, and it is a confirmation email. The second one, sent kind of 6 to 24 hours later, is some kind of valuable insight that's relevant to why they've booked the call. Now, you could get really sophisticated about this, and maybe when they book their call, they fill in a little form, and depending on their answers, they get a different email here. Or maybe if you have a specific niche and a specific outcome for your call, so maybe it's a game plan call for creative businesses, then you can share some valuable insight into why you are particularly well positioned to give them this advice, maybe outcomes for businesses that you've already worked with, maybe something unique that they can action and get a quick win on before the call to elevate you in their eyes as an expert and authority and a person of trust. So that's a really important email. And then why this call matters. So if email 2 is the carrot, email 3 is the stick. You're reminding them of the situation that they're in, of the fear, the frustration, the problems, the challenges that they're currently experiencing, and that they've booked this call because they want to change all of that. And then we have a little reminder that it's on tomorrow, and then another 1 hour before. Now, this is a pretty straightforward, pretty simply structured reminder sequence. You can add and change this as much as you like. We've only got emails in here, but as I said, you could do voicemail drops. You could send text messages. You could use Bonjoro or something like that to send a personalized video. All of this is really, really valuable and important to connect to them on an emotional and a personal level. Okay, people by people. So we want to show them that you understand them and that you're a person that can be trusted to help them. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to plan our post-call follow-up emails. Not everybody buys on the call, and that's not a problem. We can follow up with them to overcome objections or to add encouragement and confidence that they're making the right decision. We're going to write our no-show or cancel emails, and we are going to map out the pipeline. Okay, so let me jump into Uplevel now and show you the different pieces that we've got for this stage of the appointment engine. So from our dashboard, we go down to pipelines. And we have created already our sales pipeline. Now, this is pre-built. If you purchase Uplevel, then this comes already built. If you wanted to create your own or customize it, then you would go here from opportunities to pipelines. And you could either create a new one and call it sales flow or appointment engine or whatever you want to call it. And then we would have the different stage names. So it might be called booked. And as I said yesterday, it's really important to use proper words and correct terminology when you're doing this. Don't just call it stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. You know, describe exactly what has happened. So the call's booked. So the client didn't show up or they cancelled. We've had the call, but we need to follow up. They're closed, either won or lost. And they're a bad fit, maybe. Okay, so bad fit or absent. Maybe they stopped communicating. All right, so that's how easy it is to create a pipeline. So if I go back to my opportunities now, I can switch into this pipeline that we've just created. Okay, so super easy to use, super easy to create. And you can use pipelines to visually represent anything that happens in stages. It might be lead flow from when they download a lead magnet to when they become a client. It might be your appointment engine. It might be your client timeline. Maybe you've got a 6-month program. You can track that. You could have month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, and track where people are and trigger different automations based on where they are in the pipeline and where they are in your program. So there's lots of different ways that it can be used. Okay. The second thing that we're going to be looking at is automations. So down the left-hand menu to automations, you can see we've got some folders here. So if I go into my appointment engine, here we have our sequences. And again, this is pre-built in your Uplevel account. But we have, and you can see I'm using the naming conventions I spoke about last week. So there's 4 functions to a business: you attract, you convert, you deliver, and your internal administration. So I always suggest to my clients that when they're working within the system, give your emails, give your tags, give your workflows, give your funnels or your websites a name that can be consistent with the function that it's in, so that you easily know which of the parts are connected to that particular funnel. So any tags, any emails, any pages that are in my appointment engine all have C for convert, 001, because it's the first one that we've built. And because there's a couple of stages to this, it's -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So that's why they're like that. And then because they're in numerical order, they present in the order that I would typically want them to be in, from 1 down to 5. So let's jump into our reminder sequence. So you can see here we have our trigger, discovery call booked. And if I click into that, what is our trigger? Our trigger is customers booked an appointment, and it's in our strategy session calendar. Okay, that's right. We changed the name of that yesterday, didn't we? Strategy session booked. And then we update or create an opportunity in our sales pipeline. So here we just choose the pipeline we want to use, and we give the opportunity a name so it's easy to track. And what do I mean by that? I just mean all of these features here. So the opportunity name here is Karl Klanowski, and then it has the different pieces of his business visible there. Oops. What's the status of the opportunity? So this is open. It's only just been created. What's the value? So this would typically be the value of your program or your service. And what's the opportunity source? So there's lots of different ways in Uplevel that we can track where an opportunities come from. One of the ones that I like to use is contact source, because it tells me how that contact came into my system originally. We can add more fields, and we can use UTM tracking and really nail down on the specifics. But if I know that my contact source was a Facebook ad, then I'm going to do more Facebook ads because he eventually bought. If I know my contact source was LinkedIn outreach or organic social media, then I would do more of that. And it will allow me to measure the success of the different strategies that I'm using. And then we say, where do we want this opportunity? And this is a booked discovery call. Okay. And then we've got our email one. So this is our confirmation email. So if we come back to our companion workbook, you can see we've got this little exercise. So email one is our confirmation. What's the details? What's the purpose? It confirms the details, sets expectation, and reduces anxiety, and it's sent immediately after booking. So what I would encourage you to do is to open up the template funnel map that I shared with you in week 1. If you haven't got a copy of this, just comment map and we will get it out to you. And we would say here, this is our appointment engine. What's the objective? Book appointments. A little bit of blurb about the funnel. And that's primarily just so that if somebody picks this up that has no idea what an appointment engine is, they'll understand. So if you get someone new on your team, or if you're sick and you can't explain it and somebody has to pick up the reins, then this is going to give them everything they need to know. Then I like to put in all of the assets. So that's just grabbing. So if we're going to put our dashboard in, our pipeline, sorry, I would just grab that URL and I would come down here and I would just put that straight there so that I can navigate straight to the relevant asset for this funnel. And so you could just populate all of these links. And then what we're going to do is we're going to write our emails in here. So everything we need for this funnel is contained in one place. You might be heavily involved in the creation of these assets, but you might not necessarily be the person that's going to be putting them into your system. Maybe you've got a marketing person for that. Maybe you have a VA. Maybe you work with someone like myself who creates all of these things for you. So having all of these assets in one place lets you work on them, lets you create them, lets you edit them and update them. And then you can hand this document off and say, build me that. So that's one reason that we love these. And what's our call to action in our confirmation email? Okay, so we want them to make sure it's in the diary. Okay, what is our subject line? Lots of different ways that you can write this. So we might say something like that, so they immediately know what this is about. And then we're going to put our information in here. Now, this just needs to be pretty short, pretty sweet, and explain to them the process, the expectations. And if you let people cancel or reschedule, then you can have links in there for that. If it's a Zoom call, let's include the Zoom link, all that kind of information, okay? So let's say that we have written this. I'm just going to grab one to copy in. Loading, 2 seconds. Oh, look, let's do this instead. Bum, bum, bum. It is happening. My poor computer is struggling. I did order a new computer yesterday. It's going to be turning up over the weekend. I'm very excited. So hopefully that will prevent some of these delays that I have. Come on. Here we go. Great. So this is an example for when people book an Uplevel demo. So you can see here we've got, hey, thanks for booking your demo. On the call, I'm going to show you how we can automate scheduling, follow up with leads, track your sales. So they're the positive outcomes that people want. And then we mention try and benchmark them. So are they starting to streamline and feeling positive? Are they drowning in tools? Well, what's something that they can relate to? And then we give them all of the appointment details. So time and date, and then we have the merge field. And so that's just going to pull in the details of whatever appointment they've booked. And then we have our Zoom link, which is our meeting location. So I'll show you that. Then I offer people a chance to reschedule if they can't make it. So then that link is in there. And then I always share something of value that they can get a quick win from before the call. So if they don't open any other emails, they've got this, which has all of the information they will need. So let me show you how we might put that into the system. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to paste that in. And then we're going to check that it's set correctly. And then, right, just here, let me just tilt this screen up a little bit. Right, so we have this here. So if I put my merge field in for my Zoom link by clicking on this little tag icon, coming up to appointment, and then this is going to give me all the details of the appointment, including the location. So if you remember from when we were looking at our calendar, you can set the meeting location. If you've connected your Zoom, it's going to generate a unique meeting for you, and that meeting link will be brought into the system and stored. So instead of having to go to Zoom and copy the link and paste it into an email, all we need to do is use this merge field. But if we leave it like that, when it pulls through the Zoom link, we're going to have a really long, really ugly link with lots of numbers and lots of letters and lots of dashes and slashes, and it's not going to look good, and it's very off-putting, and it takes up a lot of space. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy that, and we're going to hide it behind this wording. Click here to join the call, as a hyperlink, because any merge field, any custom value can be used as a link. So, and then we just say open in new window and we click save, and you can see that that's right there. And then we're going to do the same thing with our reschedule link. So again, I open up my custom values, go to appointment, scroll down till I get my reschedule link. And I'm just going to copy that. And then put that into place. Oops. Oh, of course, I can't use a I can't use a Mac shortcut. I need to actually select the text, add link, copy that there, and open a new window. Okay, and then I can delete this. Okay, and this is my PDF. So I'm going to go to my media storage. I don't think I actually have it in this demo account, but if I did, I would just get the link, or I could upload it and just grab the PDF and upload it here. And then once it's been uploaded, oops, get the link, and then I've highlighted that already, so I can put that there in a new window. Or maybe I want to add it as an attachment that sends with the email, so I could just upload it straight from my machine then. Okay, so then we have a really clear, really concise, really informative and helpful confirmation message. Has everything that it needs, nothing that it doesn't. You don't need to give them your entire life story or the history of the business. This is a confirmation message. All it needs to say is, we've got you booked in. We're going to talk about what you wanted to talk about. Here's how you join the meeting. If you want to add things like, find a quiet place, find a good Zoom connection, whatever other activities or parameters you've got for your experience with them, then, you can add those, but please don't put unnecessary things in there. Okay, yeah. So then we're just going to repeat that process for email 2, email 3, email 4, email 5, however many emails you wanted to include. So here I've got 5. So we are going to deliver a valuable insight. So I'm going to put that in here as my goal. And actually, because I have to create 5 emails, I'm just going to copy and paste this a few more times. And that's another thing I like as well. When you're doing it in a Google Doc, you can just use the navigation on the left to jump to the different sections. So if you're like in here working with what's going to end up being a very, very long document, very long, because you've got all of these emails in here, you don't want to have to scroll to the top and scroll to the bottom. Doing it like this is really going to help you to enjoy the experience, make it an efficient experience. So little things like that make a big difference, for me at least anyway. Hopefully they make a difference for you too. Okay, so what's my call to action here? So what's a micro win that we can share with people? Okay, so that'll be different for everybody that's listening, and it'll be based on your expertise and the type of client you're working with and the outcome that you're helping them with. But I'm sure there's something you can do. I was creating a funnel the other day for a counselor, and her quick win was a podcast she'd done. It was like 7 minutes. It was more of a meditation on how to do box breathing. And so it would really, she said, try this now, try this before the call, so that you stay nice and calm and that you can, you're in a nice headspace. And that makes a huge difference it's something that she's an expert in, and it's something that her audience needs and feels an impact from and is relevant to the outcome that they work on. So is there something like that? Is there a quick win, something you can teach or share that they can action and feel really good about and build that positive connection with you and your business and how you work? Okay, so that's what we would put in here. Then we're going to go to email 3. Email 3 is why this call matters. We're going to congratulate them on making the call. We're going to maybe share a result or a review from someone, and we're going to remind them of the pain and the frustration that they're in and that this call is a possible solution to that. So that's what we're doing here, okay? And our day before, remind them again of the appointment. In this email, I like to have the time and the join link again. Same with email 5. Just to make sure that, you know, they're going to jump on board. And I like it. I'm in here, actually, I like to include a reminder of the outcome they desire. All right. So if you grab the companion workbook and you take this and you pop that into ChatGPT and give it some context, you know, I'm a coach. I work with creative agencies. I'm creating a reminder sequence. This is the structure I'd like to use. Here is an asset. Here's a quick win, blah, blah, blah. And it will write all of this for you. So then you just go through and tweak it and personalize it a little bit, put it into your funnel map, and then hand that off to your VA or your marketing person or, you know, your automation consultant, and they will build it in your system for you. Okay. So once we've done that, then you're just going to repeat that with your no-show and your cancellation emails. Now, I use the same sequence for no-shows as I do for cancellations. And let me show you why. You don't have to. You certainly don't have to. You could build out 2 different ones if you wanted to. But if you couch the language the right way, then it makes sense no matter what the action is. Okay, so you can see here my appointment, my trigger is appointment status. So event type normal, appointment status no show, in calendar, strategy session. Because when you have an appointment, let me show you this actually. When you have an appointment, you can mark whether they showed up, whether they didn't show up, whether they, I don't have any appointments in this calendar. So here we go. Did they show up? Did they not show up? Did they cancel? Is this a mistake? So when you mark that status to your appointments, it can be used as a trigger. So if you mark it as a no-show, they'll get added to this sequence. If you mark it as a cancellation, they'll get added to this sequence. If they cancel, it automatically gets marked as a cancellation and they get added to this sequence. So then we're going to update our opportunity. So that is our pipeline. Lots of jumping around between tabs today. Really sorry. I hope you can keep up. So we're updating our opportunity. So Tyra here, for example, would move to no show. Actually, that's interesting. So because we've got no show and cancellation in the same pipeline, we need to make a small change here. So what we're going to do, we need to know whether they cancelled or whether they were a no-show. That's important because we need to then update the opportunity. So we're going to add an if else. So this is just a logic step. We're going to build our own. So I'm just going to call this cancelled. And then I'm going to say my workflow trigger, which is why are they in here, is appointment status cancelled. And then this one is going to be no-show, because that's the only other option. Now you could use these, you can use this if-else condition in a plethora of ways. There's so many options. It's mind-blowing the things that you can do. It's really, really interesting. But let's do this. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to move it there. And we're going to change this from no show. We're going to move that to cancelled, just so we can track. This is a statistic thing. We need accuracy of data. And then we're going to change this one. Okay, so that is no show. Great. And then I'm just going to move my contacts from this side to here. So they get the same flow, but now we have more accurate data. We have a more accurate pipeline. We know exactly what's going on. Because we need to know if people are canceling or if people are not showing up. If our no-show rate is really high, then we know that we need to work on the reminders because people aren't turning up. Okay, and then we come down here and we go, right, cancel no-show email number 1. And my subject line is sorry we didn't connect. So whether we canceled or whether we no-show, that subject line is relevant, and then you just make the message in the email the same. Sorry we didn't get a chance to connect. Really like to talk to you about X. I think that we can help you to Y. You know, here's a link. Why don't you rebook? Okay. And then same thing with no-show email 2. In case you're still exploring better ways to grow your creative agency, or CRM systems, or whatever it is your outcome is or your service is, that's relevant whether they cancelled or didn't show up. Should I close the loop, Bob? So this is whether they've cancelled or not shown up. This is you saying, right, I get the point. You're not interested. Should I close this? And that actually is a subject line that works really, really well. And will often prompt a response where they'll say, oh, you know, yes, not interested, or, oh, hang on, let's get something in the diary again. If they don't respond to that, then our final thing down here is to update the opportunity. We move it to closed and we change the status to lost. So what does that look like? So you can see in our pipeline here, we've got 3 opportunities in closed. If I just click into this one, you can see that that status is 1. And you can see Solange is lost. Now, if we wanted to, we could maybe filter out the lost opportunities, or we could filter out the 1 opportunities when we're looking at our pipeline. So if I come to advanced filters here, let's go to status. So maybe I only want to see open and 1 because I want to feel good. So, so then it shows me the 9, 11 that are open or 1. Maybe I actually only want to see the lost ones. Right. Okay. So then, because that's lost, I might pick that up and just move it down here to abandoned. Or I might just leave it there. But there's lots of different ways that you can play around with the view inside your pipeline. So you're seeing what you want to see. Okay. I've got to stop saying okay. And again, we have our follow-up emails. Okay. So we would have a thank you email. Thanks them for the time, restates the key points, maybe sends them any resources that you said you'd send over, or a typed up proposal, whatever your thing is. Email 2, if they haven't made a purchase, then we're going to share maybe an FAQ letter or a case study of a successful client and highlight the reasons that it would be good to work with you. And then email 3, we're just going to give them just a tiny push to help them in making a decision. Often see a bit of urgency or a bit of scarcity is good in helping people to move that. And again, you can continue this for as long as you like. You could have 4 emails, 5 emails, 10 emails in your follow-up sequence. You could use voicemail drops. You could send video. You could send them a survey. Whatever you want. There's so many different tools that you can use in your follow-up, in your rebooking sequence, in your reminder sequence. Uplevel has an amazing amount of tools. Okay, so let's recap. Today we have gone through how to create all of the emails for your funnel. If you haven't got the workbook, just comment 3 and we will send out the workbook, and then you can just use this structure with Claude or ChatGPT, whatever your preferred tool is, to create the emails. Because it's the structure and the personality that's the important bit. The content, a machine can write that. You then personalize it and you follow this proven structure that gets high show up rates, high conversion rates. That's what we want in our appointment engine. Okay. So join me again tomorrow, where we are going to finish this off. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to optimize it. We're going to have a testing checklist. So what are all the pieces that you need to make sure are working and are built? And then we're going to launch. Okay. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.